grades, all right? And those daily grades are going to be comprised of, first of all, practice tests. Now, my practice tests are going to be given, uh, and they're going to be placed in WebCT. And so that means if my practice tests are in WebCT, that means you could get to them anytime you want to. I will open up the practice test a few days before the actual test. And in most cases, I'm going to give you 2 opportunities to take the practice test so you can maximize on your grade. Now, the uniqueness of me having my practice test in WebCT is that you can take it anytime you want to. If you take the practice test in the math lab, then that means you would have to take the practice test during the hours of the math lab. So the way I have it set up is designed to assist you because I know you're a college student and you have a busy schedule. All right, so practice tests are going to be part of our daily grades. And now I don't give pop quizzes. I hate to pop people, so you don't have to worry about pop quizzes. But I do assign homework. There will be some homework assignments. There will be some problem solving on the board. I give something called the end of the day quiz. The end of the day quiz is probably in most cases are problems that were assigned as homework problems, or maybe a problem that I think that you need to know how to work. Well, I hand that problem out to you at the end of our class period, and I say, okay, this problem is due back by 5 p.m. Well, I know some of y'all are saying, well, I have to go to work right after class. Well, here's the uniqueness of this. The end of the day quiz shouldn't take you no more than 3 to 5 minutes to do if you've done the homework and if you have a good understanding of the material. Now, there are 3 ways you can get that end of the day quiz back to me. One way is to slide it into my office door. Another way is to email it back to me. And again, if you email it back to me, don't forget to put Dmth 0371 and your section number so I know what class the email is coming from. And then thirdly, you could get it back to me by faxing it. Now, I'm going to ask you if you fax it back, and again, my fax number is 880-8602. If you fax it back, don't send me a cover sheet, okay? All right. Now, here's one important thing that you need to note about the daily assignments. If you're absent, the day that I give a daily assignment or the day that I pick up a daily assignment, your grade on that daily assignment is going to be a 0. Now, again, I want you to key in on that. Your grade on that daily assignment is going to be a 0. And then here's another big issue. No daily assignment will be accepted late. So that means we don't take late assignments. And so you want to be careful because another way that you could get an F in this class is that you accumulate a large number of zeros. Okay, usually 5. Okay. All right, so that daily grade counts as a test grade. So let's talk about testing. This class is unique. It's a developmental class, and so in this class, you get 2 opportunities to pass a unit test. And so let's say, for example, you take test 1 and you make a 55. Well, again, in this class, 70 is passing. So that means you would be given an opportunity to retest. Now, in order to retest in my class, you have to do the retest problems. And so if you fail a unit test, you want to do the retest problems and go to the math lab and take the retest. Now, no retest can be taken on the same day of the original test, okay? Retest should be done within 1 week of the date of the original test. And most time, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to set the time for that. And if the grade on the original test is below 70, then you must retest. Now, here's the thing about retesting. The highest grade that you can earn on a retest is a 75. So that means, like, if you make a 95 on the retest, and that's your pure grade, you're only going to get credit for 75% of the work, okay? All right, so that's very, very important. And again, I have a schedule. We're going to go over the schedule real briefly. Absolutely no cell phones are allowed to be turned on in our class or in view. Cell phones may not be used as calculators in our class. And so you want to make sure that you follow this particular rule here because that is a big issue, cell phones. You cannot use programmable calculators in this class. And you will need approximately 7 scantrons because our first test and our final exam are multiple choice tests. Academic dishonesty, the bottom line is if you're caught cheating in this class, and there are ways of knowing, then you're going to face the issues with regard to academic dishonesty. Okay, so I want you to read that for yourself. Now, the homework syllabus, here's the homework syllabus sheet, and mine is a little off, but I just wanted to go over it with you real briefly. This is section 1.1, and the first number here is the page number, and then these are the problems that you should do. I like homework problems done on notebook paper on one side of the sheet, and reserve the back side of the sheet for me or my grader to write comments that on a particular problem. Only one assignment to a sheet. Say, for example, if you have room at the bottom of a page, and you say, well, oh, I can start the next assignment. No, because when I pick up the assignments, and again, this is how I do my daily assignments. I flip a coin every day, and when I flip the coin, if it's heads, I ask myself, should I do a pop quiz? Should I do end of the day quiz? Now, remember, I told you I didn't do pop quizzes, so that one was out. Should I pick up the homework? So it's very random. You need to have your homework when I call for it. There's no such thing as going back to my dorm room to get the homework, or I left it in my car. The homework is due when I call for it. Okay, so these are the homework pages. Okay? Now let me talk about the lecture schedule. Like, for example, this is our first week of school. Today I'm doing the introduction. On Wednesday we're going to look at 1.1, and on Friday we're going to look at 1.2. All right, so this is our schedule. Again, mine is a little off because of computer alignment. Week 1, week 2, week 3, and then around after September 8th to 11th, we're going to take our first test. And so our first test will cover chapter 1. Now again, remember, the first test, chapter 1, is a multiple choice test. It is the only multiple choice test that we would take on the unit test. Remember, the final exam is multiple choice as well. Now, this test, again, you're going to be given 2 opportunities to take any of these unit tests. But let's say, for example, you take the test. Okay, let's say you take the test and you make a 60 on the first try. Okay, well, we know 60 is not passing, so that means then you would have to take a retest. Let's say you take the retest and you make a 95. Boy, you should have made the 95 on the first go-round, because that's the most important round, is to try to get that grade as high as possible so that you don't have to retest. But because you took a retest, the grade you're going to get is a 75. Okay? All right, so that's how the testing works. But let's look at another scenario. Let's suppose you made a 65 on the first test, and you take a retest, and the retest grade is a 50. Well, 50 is lower than a 65, and what we do is we take the higher of the 2 test scores. But now you got to keep in mind that your final average must be above 70 in order to pass this class. Okay, and if you have any questions on any of these items that I'm talking about, you could ask me on Wednesday in class, or you can feel free to email me. Okay? All right. All right, and then we have the testing deadline schedule. So we have a schedule for testing. Now, sometimes we're going to fall behind this schedule, and sometimes we're going to be ahead of this schedule for testing purposes. And the reason being is because if we take any of the tests as a class, then I don't want to be in the math lab when other classes are testing, because it takes away from the time. And again, remember that this class is only a 50-minute class, and so I don't want to spend 20 minutes of your 50 minutes just trying to get in the math lab. But we will deal with that when we deal with the first test. Then here's our final exam schedule. If you're in the 8 o'clock class, then our final exam is going to be on Monday, December 14th from 8 to 10:30. If you're in the 9:05 class, then our final exam is going to be on Friday, December 11th from 8 to 10:30. You need to bring a Scantron to the final exam. Okay. I've kind of went through everything rather quickly. There will be other things that I will share with you all as we meet in class. Okay, again, if you have any questions, feel free to come by my office.